Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gaming Generations podcast. It's just me and Harry again this week. I feel like it's only me and him working yet. Want to say hi, Harry?
Hi everyone.
How's things, Harry?
I'm alright mate, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Are we going to go do 10 minutes of football? Because I feel like you want to gush about Middlesbrough for the last week or so, scoring, 12 goals in 3 games?
We were 9. We finally found our shooting boots, which has been really good. I think the international break's coming at a bit of a bad time for us, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, we scored 4 against QPR in midweek, and then we scored 5 yesterday against Luton. I mean, I will say, without wanting to get too far ahead of myself, there were 2 incredibly poor teams that we played, like QPR and Luton. They were both awful. I mean, but I think earlier on in the season, those have been potential banana skins for us. Obviously, the way we've been playing this year, we've been pretty much dominating every game we've played, but just had a lack of cutting edge up front and just making silly mistakes and stuff like that. And we've also had, I would also say, a bit of bad luck against us. So when we played Norwich the other week, we drew 3-3 at theirs, and on paper you think, it's probably that's a pretty good result, that getting a point there, difficult place to go. But we were 3-1 up with a penalty to make it 4-1, and we somehow contrived to miss the penalty and then concede 2 goals. But if you look at their 3 goals, 2 of them were absolute worldies, and then the other one was an own goal. So they haven't really had the luck of the green recently, and then this week it's all just seemed to come together for them. I mean, yesterday, I can't remember the last time I was at a match with 25 minutes to go, just relaxed because we weren't going to mess it up. So I think it's been a while since I felt like that. So yeah, it was very good.
They got quite lax in those last 20 minutes or so before Azaz put the icing on the cake.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just a case of we knew the game was won, and we just weren't going to overexert ourselves and stuff like that, really. But I mean, we scored some belting goals yesterday. I thought Lath's was brilliant. His first touch and his turn, and then obviously both of Finaz's were really good as well.
Lath looked like he's been possessed by Romario for 20 seconds, mate, in that goal.
I know. Well, I think obviously he's had a bit of a rough start. I think just before the window closed, Ipswich came in for him. I think it really distracted him a little bit because he looked quite sharp, but and again also as well, I'd say one of the other points that I alluded to earlier on, he wasn't getting the rub of the green. I mean, I remember we played away at West Brom, and we crossed the ball into the box, and he got in between 2 defenders and headed it down right into the corner, and somehow the keeper gets down and tips it behind the post, and you think, for as soon as that left his head, you thought, well, that's in. I still don't know how that goalkeeper got down to tip that around the post, and he's just had loads of stuff like that, really, where he just hasn't had the rub of the green, and as I say, I also do think some of his performances dropped off a bit, and he got replaced in the team recently by Tommy Conway, and I think that might have been maybe the kick up the backside that he's sort of needed.
Yeah, Conway scored a few goals, hasn't he? But I don't think he's quite to the standard of Lath on his day. Maybe Lath is just a slow starter. He started last season quite slow, didn't he? Then scored a shitload of goals.
Well, I think he's very streaky as a striker. He'll go on these runs where he did this last year. He didn't really look prolific, and then I think he scored something like 10 in 11 games or something like that. So I'm hoping he's getting on one of these runs now. But I mean, we're starting to get good options. I mean, I thought Bergzog took he was there to take both of his goals yesterday. We've got Marcus Forss coming back, who is the best finisher at the club. And then yeah, as you say, you've got like Conway and Lath up front. So yeah, they've got goals, and then we've got Ben Doak on the right, and honestly, that lad, he's going places. He is unreal for an 18-year-old kid. He's so direct. He just terrifies defenders.
Yeah, he's a future Liverpool starter, isn't he, in the making?
Yeah, Doak. I think so. Yeah, he's just. I mean, obviously, he plays in the same position as Mo Salah, so he's
it's not ideal, is it?
Yeah, he's finding it a bit tough to sort of get him out the side. So, but I don't know what's going to happen with Mo Salah. Is he coming into the end of his last year of his contract? Is it, or is he signed an extension?
It's up in the summer, isn't it? And by all accounts, like it's 50-50 really whether he stays or goes. I know Barca are interested in him on a free transfer.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of Saudi teams would love to take him as well.
Oh, they would, yeah.
And he's he'll be 32, I think, end of this season. So maybe he just wants that last big paycheck.
Yeah.
He's not going to get in this. He's not getting in the Barca starting lineup, is he? Lamine Yamal plays the same position as him. That'd be a strange one for me.
I don't know. I mean, he is genuinely world class, isn't he? So
yeah, I know he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it difficult to say he wouldn't get in any team in the world, but I get what you're saying. He's Lamal's the future, isn't he, at Barcelona? So you think they wouldn't want to upset him.
No, and he's clearly their best player. Unless they kind of converted him, like with Messi and played him up front, Salah.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, he could
play there, could he?
Oh, of course he would. Yeah. I think he could probably be a right back if he wanted to. If I'm being honest,
but playing goal, maybe all right.
Yeah.
Wait, but talk about banana skins. Shall we talk about Spurs?
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to. I mean, I looked at that this weekend, and I thought, like, in my dream team, I put, I was like, oh, Spurs at home against Ipswich, right? I'll put Solanke back in. He scored a couple last week. And I put Pedro Porro in there as well at the back. Hopefully a clean sheet and a couple of goals. And I was just I was watching the other match, the Newcastle match, and I just looked on my iPad to see what the score was, and it was like 0-2, and I thought, oh, that is the most Spursy thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, it's appalling. We just can't defend, like, at all. In any, like, both goals were defensive errors. Like, there's no communication or like bereft of any kind of skill in the back, which is crazy because in the team we have, like, we just can't defend at all.
You played really well the other week as well, didn't you? You hit 4, and Solanke scored twice, and I thought, maybe they've found like a bit of form, sort of thing. But
every time I look at the Premier League team, I'm thinking, oh, we win here, we'll go third, because obviously Forest lost.
Yeah.
So we'd have gone third today if we won, mate. That's how mad the Premier League is this season. Spurs could have gone third. And like every time I do that, we lose to someone crap. Like last time it was Palace, now it's Ipswich. Like what is the problem?
I know.
I just don't get it. Like we beat City and Villa within the space of 5 days, and lose to Palace and Ipswich. Just. Oh.
I mean, but that's the sort of thing that Borough do, though. I mean, we'll beat like Sheffield United and teams like that, and then we go and lose to like a team in the bottom 6. Like Coventry turned us over 3-0 the other week, and they've since sacked their manager, and it's like,
yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it? Him going, I thought that was a strange decision personally.
Yeah, I think that'll come back to haunt them. I think he's been, well, he was there for what, like 7 or 8 years or something like that. And he worked miracles with the lack of budget that he had. They always had to sell players. Like he'd unearthed like gems winning like Gyökeres and Harmer, and he always had to sell them for money. And he never really got like the money to reinvest back in the club. So you kind of wondering like what is it that they want? Do you know what I mean? It baffles me that getting rid of him.
Do you think, right, they've punched above their weight for years because he's been their manager?
Yeah.
And now he's gone, I just see them falling down that table, mate. It's like Birmingham, isn't it? Last season.
Yeah. I mean, they came so close. I mean, obviously, when they beat us in the playoffs 2 seasons back, it was a dead tight game. But that was when we were flying. Then we had like Chuba Akpom up front banging in the goals, and they sort of like edged us out like 1-0 over like the semi final of the playoffs, and then they just missed out in the final. And you just think like one of those sliding door moments, like if they'd have gone up, like they'd have got obviously a lot more money. That I think a lot of the clubs now, like they know potentially that they're going to come back down, but they use it as an opportunity to build a stronger championship level squad. So they just buy players that are they're good in the championship, and then if we stay up this year in the Prem, great. If not, we've got the nucleus of a good team to have a go again and just sort of like get stronger. And sort of think they could have done that, and you think with a bit of a budget, what could he have actually done there?
Well, they might have kept Gyökeres, they might have kept Hamer if they'd been before that point. Obviously, we all know how good a player Gyökeres has become.
Yeah.
When he single-handedly destroyed Man City in the Champions League last week.
No, I must admit, I didn't think he was of that level. That the few times I saw him, he looked good and like a very tidy footballer and stuff. But if you'd said to me, he's going to score a hat-trick against Man City in the Champions League, I'd have found that difficult to believe.
His rise is ridiculous because he's not that young, is he? He's kind of matured as a player. Of like, was he 26? I think Gyökeres is.
Yeah. He's apparently like he's very self-confident as a player, like bordering on arrogance, from what I've heard. He's like a
great finisher.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, and I suppose you need that as a centre forward, don't you? You have to think like, I'm the best player on this pitch. I'll get a chance. I'll score
absolutely.
It.
All the best strikers are a bit arrogant, mate. Because Zlatan, Ronaldo, Romario. 2 shout-outs to Romario this episode. I'm on board for Brazilian legends. I think you definitely need a bit of swagger to be like a world-class striker. Like Zlatan's the cream of the crop when he like arrogant-wise.
Of course, yeah. Some of the things he came out with were like absolutely like ridiculous, weren't they? Like, yeah.
Who doesn't love Zlatan though?
No, you have to love him, don't you?
Yeah.
I think he kind of plays on it a little bit. I think he over exaggerates it for like comic effect in a way. A bit like I think Roy Keane does it on like the grumpiness and the bad
definitely.
mood. Like it's like a bit of a character, isn't it?
Mate,
and
Zlatan is a WWE character. He's just playing bad guy.
Yeah.
He'd be perfect. He'd be an amazing wrestler.
Yeah, unashamedly bad guy. I mean, he's got the build for it as well. He's massive, and doesn't he do taekwondo as well or something?
Yeah.
So...
He was 6'7", isn't he?
Yeah, he's a unit. Yeah.
How has he never been in the WWE?
I don't know.
There was like a former German goalkeeper took up wrestling after he retired. I forget his name now though.
Well, he did. Grant Holt did, who used to play for Norwich.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He wrestles on the Indies in England.
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast with him on, and he was on about it, and I think he was trying to get I think like David Waiter, used to play for the Borough. He loves it as like a fan, and he has like loads like wrestling figures and stuff like that. Like in the you could buy like the models of them. He like has all them apparently. So I think Grant Holt was trying to get him to fight him in a match at one point.
Funnily enough, I think there was a bit of a wrestling subculture at Borough back in like the late 2000s. So I remember James Morrison scoring for Borough, and him and Yakubu were celebrating. Yakubu gave him the John Cena "You Can't See Me." So then Morrison does like the shuffle that John Cena does. I'm like, I know that. You can't hide the shit from me.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, no, I wouldn't know that.
It would be like 08, 09, 9, 10. I remember it vividly. So Yakubu's a wrestling fan. Who would have known? We're pulling them all out here, mate. Yakubu, Romario, it's all happening.
Yeah.
We should do a retro football podcast where we talk about like Premier League, not quite legends. There'd be some absolute bangers.
Yeah, God. Yeah, get Tricky involved in that for some of his off-the-wall sort of shouts.
Tricky put half them in his Arsenal teammates. Doesn't need to talk anymore. biggest piss take ever. That. But yeah, shall we get on to the games?
Yeah, let's go for it.
What have you been playing, mate?
Just two games really. So, Fallout London and Phasmophobia, which we've been playing.
We'll do Phasmophobia last day. Have a big chat.
Okay. Yeah. So Fallout London. I'm getting near the end of that. So I've just finished one of the main sort of like strands of the story, which was like the sort of like the gang side of it. And the main sort of gang who you were sort of like affiliated through, you end up sort of like taking over them, and you end up having a a bit of a spoiler, but you have to fight the ex-leader, Sebastian Gaunt, and you end up sort of like taking over. But I've been this week doing a lot of the side quests because I'm at like kind of like a pivotal point in the game. Like I don't think I'm too far from like the point of no return sort of thing. I haven't got anything to verify that, but just playing a lot of like Fallout games, you kind of get that inkling, don't you, when some of the other quests, that there's you're not finding any more new ones and stuff like that, and it's kind of like all that is really left is the main story and the ones that you've sort of like put off for now. So and in the main story on that side as well, I'm getting closer and closer to the mysterious Mr. Smythe. The last mission I played, I was supposed to be going to have a meeting with him, and you go into like a phone box, and it turns into a lift basically, and you end up in prison. And then you have to sort of break you out of prison, and do all this sort of stuff. So again, it was just like a ruse of his to try and basically take you out of the picture because he thinks you're getting too close to him now. But at the next mission, I have to go and meet a mysterious Mr. X who also wants to take down Smythe. So it's I'm closing in on him, as it were. I've just been doing some of the side quests, and some of them are like honestly like true, like the old Bethesda like side quests where you just go sort of like all over the place, or you go to a very unique location and then you're just in there for like sort of 15-20 minutes, and then you come out of it and you're like, well, that was amazing. Like,
yeah, we miss the old Bethesda, don't we, mate?
Yeah, well, you get Fallout London, mate. There's tons in that. So I
might be the proud owner of a Lenovo Legion Go this week.
Oh, right.
Obviously, which can play Steam games. So I'll be playing all my PC games on that. And Fallout London, mate.
Oh, mate, honestly, yeah. Some as I say, like some of the side quests. I just did one in Crystal Palace Maze, which is just it's absolutely like palmy. There's like when you go into it, there's a robot in the middle of the maze, and he's on sort of like a plinth, so you can see him above the maze, and he sort of says, welcome to our maze. Not many people are able to get to the centre. Do you think you can like do it? And he's all like friendly and stuff. And then you go, yeah, I'll go on, I'll give it a go. So he goes, right, I'll open the gates for you. And then he locks you in, and it turns out like he's like an evil robot, and he's trying to kill you. So he's hidden around the maze, all of these like turrets, and then there's like feral ghouls in there. There's like poisonous plants which give you radiation poison, and you have to navigate through this maze to find like these 3 keys. To open like a set of gates to get to him, and then before that there's like a chessboard, and there's all these like hidden traps and mines and all this sort of like mad stuff on it, and then you have to like end up like fighting him and stuff like that just to get out of this maze, really. And it's like, it's just, as I said, just one of them classic like Bethesda Fallout missions that we miss and that we love, and there's just loads like that. And yeah, there's like a couple of ones which I'm just not gonna do. So one of them, basically, I had to go and hunt down this something kept on killing all of these people, and it turns out it's a Myelite queen, and I just thought, oh, yeah, I don't want to take that on. Like, I haven't got the bullets for it. Like, I'm still finding in that game, like, the balance of the game is still one of the best I've played. Like, normally by this point in a Fallout game, you've got 10,000 bullets and you've got armor where you're practically like invulnerable. But it's not the case in this one. Like, I think bullets and radaways are still very scarce to come by. Like, I mean, I've played the game for I think like 42 hours and I've got 16 radaways, which isn't a great deal at all for the amount of water that they make you go in that game.
41 hours into Fallout 4, mate, I had about 100 radaways or 100 stim packs.
Yeah.
I could one-shot a Deathclaw with a knife.
I know, yeah. I've got about 350 bullets as well, so I'm even finding them hard to come by. Like, it's... But I think I've just found, like, a god tier weapon. So I've... With a bit of a nod to James Bond, I found a gun called Scaramanga, which is like a gold, it's got a gold barrel on it, so it's the man with the golden gun sort of thing.
Yeah.
And its base damage is 2.5 times more than the best weapon I've got. So right. I think that's going to be a bit of a game changer.
I think it would have worked like if you'd built into a melee build on this well, I'll say DLC. This mod.
I don't know, because I did try to do that early doors, but you just get rushed by stuff, and yeah, there's whenever you come across things like assaultrons, for example, I found the only way you can beat them is you have to sort of path them, so you have to get them into a doorway. And you have to put like a mine down, and it blows the legs off, basically. And that's the only way I've been able to beat them, because otherwise they just kill you. They're so tough. Yeah, it is.
Bit more thought to it, a bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to be crying for Ballistic Weave when I play this.
Yeah, but you do get it. You do get Ballistic Weave, yeah.
Right.
As part of one of the missions, but it's still not as strong as what it is in Fallout 4. So I've got a right hodgepodge of armor. My the original suit that I got from the game from getting out of the test tube, I've got that, but I've wove ballistics into it, so it's that acts as like a base layer, and then I've just got various bits of like metal armor on me, and I've tried to get ones that are like legendary. So I'd say the best piece I've got is like a shoulder piece, which has got the chameleon effect. So when I'm in crouch, I go invisible, and obviously I've loaded a lot into like sneak and stuff like that as well. So it really sort of like synergizes quite well with my build. And I've been using the spy pistol as well, which has got a silencer on it, which again sort of feeds into what I've been trying to go for.
Do you think Bethesda should just hire these guys to make like a spin-off Fallout game? Give them some money.
I think they definitely should. I mean, I think a lot of these guys. I mean, I think some of them are developers now for other gaming studios. I think, and I think some have just done it as a like a hobby, like it's like an interest to them and it's something that they want to do. But I'd be amazed if every single one of these guys doesn't have a job in game development now.
Yeah. So just lastly, obviously we'll probably be doing a Game of the Year show next month. Mm-hmm. What's the chances of a mod being your best Game of the Year?
I would say probably, without spoiling the Game of the Year, probably like 95%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that good.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah. It feels as though it was made for me, this game, though.
We're going to approach Game of the Year a little bit differently, though, I think.
Right, okay.
I think I want to best games we've played regardless of release this year.
Yeah, well, I always did it like that anyway.
Yeah. Because we kind of took the piss a bit last year, didn't we? We're throwing some random shit in there.
Yeah.
I just think it gives us a bit more scope, because I haven't played a lot that was actually released this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say also as well that there hasn't been that much good that's been out this year, really, is it? It's been a pretty slow year, really.
Well, mate, at the moment, Unicorn Overlord's probably going to be number one. Well, yeah, before you go to Phasmophobia, we'll cover that last, and I'll go through my games that I played. Yeah. So I had a bit of a splurge, and I picked up Aliens Dark Descent, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, and despite slating it on this show and to all of my friends, I actually picked up Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Right.
So first, Aliens Dark Descent, I only played a little bit of it, so I'll probably cover that more in a future show. But it's basically cannon fodder with an alien skin, but with like a pretty cool story behind it. I was feeling it quite early on, but because I'm playing so much, I'm just going to go on the back burner of that now a little bit.
Yeah.
So like squad based, it's like where they need to go. The shooting stuff while you're in the direction you aim. Well, not your mouse. So it probably would be a lot better on mouse and keyboard. I would add this game than on a controller, but. Yeah, I'll probably get to that next year once I finish off the other games.
Mm-hmm.
Life is Strange, Two Colours, that was the last one. Double Exposure. Have you ever played a Life is Strange game, Harry?
I think I played about an hour of the first one, and it's just not for me, those types of games. I don't think.
You don't like those like episodic story based choose your own adventure things, do you?
Not really. I always find them a bit slow paced.
This one's very slow paced.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, they always have like a killer soundtrack and stuff like that on it, don't they? And
that's got a killer soundtrack. You're right.
Yeah.
But this one's a direct sequel to the very first game, so I was like the main lead from that game.
Yeah.
I've only finished chapter 1, so it's very early days. So I'm not going to go a lot into it, but I always enjoy them. True Colours, the last one that came out, was like a standalone game. It wasn't episodic, that one.
Yeah.
That one was really good. Hopefully this one will get to those heights, but I will be honest, its first hour and a half, I think I was nodding off at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'd had a particularly late night with the child and was up at 6 a.m, so like, it probably wasn't the best state of mind to play it. But it just didn't grab me at all. But I will commit to it and play it. Obviously, I've paid very good for flipping things, so.
Yeah.
And then Dragon Age: The Veilguard, which obviously, when the reviews dropped, I sent to you, didn't I, Harry? Like, its reviews are stellar. This might be our next plate and do our weekly walkthrough episodes on. But then all the kind of conspiracies came out. Did you read much into this, Harry, by any chance?
Not the conspiracies, no. I mean, obviously there was a lot of like the big gaming sort of houses were giving it, 9 out of 10 and 90% and all this sort of stuff, and then a lot of the independent reviewers and sort of like streamers and guys with like YouTube channels and stuff were sort of slated it really and said, oh, it's more like a 6 out of 10 really. So I mean, obviously the one that you forwarded me from Skill Up, who was like obviously very well respected for his reviews and stuff, he absolutely panned it, didn't he? He said it was one of the worst games he's played.
Yeah, he was brutal with it, wasn't he? And generally put me right off playing it.
Yeah, me too.
But I thought for content, I'll pick it up. And I'm about 10 hours into it, and I think I kind of fall in between like the big site reviews and his review.
Yeah.
I would say, like, obviously all the conspiracy was that EA handpicked the reviewers from the big sites. That's what all the rumours are. Like, they picked who would review it from those sites that would give it a good score, then held review codes from other people that they thought wouldn't give it a good score or had been negative about its previews in the past. So, a site called Fextra Life, who do a lot of RPG-based YouTube stuff, they were very vocal about not receiving review code. But then it makes you think, you guys are independent reviewers, what makes you think you are entitled to get a review code for every game for free?
Yeah. I mean, you think like the amount of money that they'll make off monetizing their review on YouTube and what have you. Surely they can afford the 40 quid to buy the game.
But mate, looking at Fixer Life's like Twitch stream numbers, they probably make about 20 grand a month just from that, let alone the YouTube views.
Yeah, so they're not short of a couple of quid, are they?
No, and I think it's only three guys that runs it, so they're doing all right. But my initial thoughts are, I think it looks incredible. Personally, its locations and its world generally are like beautiful and very varied. They're also quite linear. So it's more like a Mass Effect game where you drop in like a hub and then you just go off and explore. There are some open bits, but it's not. I wouldn't say it is open world in any way. It's very linear. Not like Inquisition that dumped you in the hinterlands and let you spend 20 hours there without realizing what you're even meant to be doing.
That was going to be my thing. How does it compare to Inquisition? Because obviously on that there was basically a bunch of smaller zones, weren't there? And yet you basically had to go and liberate each one, and as well as the main quest in each zone, there was a ton of side content, and you'd go and find companions that were, that was where they, you sort of, they originated from and stuff like that. And there was in each zone was markedly different. But is this one the same sort of structure, or is it one map, or is it somewhere in between? Or
it's kind of in between. So like you get your world map like you did in Inquisition, where it's got like different points of interest, hasn't it? You can travel to it and go out and explore. So it has that. The areas are like generally smaller than they are in Inquisition. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because some of those Inquisition areas were very fetch questy, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
So it's a similar structure. So literally at the moment, I'm going between these areas that I've unlocked and like recruiting the companion from them. And they've all been pretty cool. Like, I know there was a lot of criticism for its handling of like virtue signaling and stuff like that, but generally I haven't felt anything forced on me yet in the 10 hours I've played it.
Yeah.
It's very linear for its first 7 hours, where it's building its story up, and then kind of sends you off. So now I've got side quests for like my companions, I've got main quests, so each location has like a reputation thing, like in like Fallout you would say, like New Vegas.
Yeah.
So you can build the reputation and buy better things in the stores there, and I'm not sure where that's going to go yet, but yeah. So I've started looking side quests. I think its main strength is its combat. It's far better than Inquisition's.
Is it? Right.
It's really fun. It's really snappy, really hard hitting. I'm playing as a mage. You can kind of swap between like ranged staff attacks and like a magic globe and a knife that you've got. I tend to use the globe and knife mostly because it's really strong.
Yeah.
And you got like screen filling attacks, and your companion. You don't have any control of your companions in this one though.
Oh, right.
They're completely separate entities. They go off and do what they want.
So how good's their AI then when it comes to that? Because I think, sometimes in games like that, you can, you're at their whim, and they go and do something like, why have you gone and attacked that? I want you to go attack that. It's 1 HP and you can get it off the board. How's that sort of stacking up?
Well, I tend to find there's a certain side character called Lucian who is he's an assassin possessed by a demon that talks to him. He's a pretty cool ass character. Yeah. And he's normally murdered the entire room before I even get a look in.
Right, okay, right.
So I've sort of mixed it up with like an archer, the assassin, and me as a mage. And I've not struggled in any fight at all yet. I've murdered everyone.
Right, okay. Do you think it works better like that then, where you can only control your character? Because if I'm being honest, in Inquisition, that was one of the things I really liked, the fact that, if I wanted to play the tank, then I could. And in this fight, I quite fancy being the ranged archer. So I'll just switch them and I'll control them for this fight. Or do you not find that an issue?
I think we'll have different opinions on this, because I didn't use that feature in Inquisition at all.
Oh, right.
I generally just set them up with their armor, their abilities, and let them do what they want and played as my own character. I've never switched. I never switched to the tactical view either, to move them around and direct them to attack things.
I did all of that.
I didn't do any of it.
That was one of the things I really enjoyed about it.
Right. So I kind of like the dumbed down bit. Like I said to you guys, it's like RPG for beginners.
Yeah. Do you think, in retrospect, based on that comment, they've done it on purpose to, so this isn't aimed at, people who are, veterans of RPGs? Do you think this is, we want to get a new audience, and this is like a good intro to RPGs?
I think so, and I think it is a good intro for RPGs. Like I said to Steve, this would be ideal for your first big RPG.
Yeah.
Because it's really dumbed down. Like you still get your gear and your weapons and your upgrades. Like the skill tree is huge. No idea what I'm doing with that yet, or where I'm going.
Okay.
If you go off like 4 different directions, it can like specialize into a different class when you get to a certain point.
Mm.
I like the idea of the undead mage, like using like necrotic spells, but we'll see where it goes. Because I'm finding ice spells are really strong. So
Yeah. So,
so there's
so
still
does it do like AOE stuff? So if you cast an ice spell, do they all like slip over on the ice, or do they move slower in it, or is it that
well,
sort of thing?
so you need to synergize with attacks. So like I've got this ice AOE where it, like does like a big circular blast and freeze everything around me.
Yeah.
And then you can synergize, so you can hold RB and still get your colleagues to attack with certain attacks.
Yeah.
And certain of them have synergies with other players, so like a double attack if you pick them together.
Right. Okay.
And get them to focus on one major enemy, but it's really snappy, like takes seconds to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And does the AOE stuff can that affect your party? So I'm thinking of like say, Baldur's Gate 3, for example. If you sort of cast an ice spell on the floor, then your own characters could slip and fall in it as well, or does it not do that?
No, there's no friendly fire. Baldur's Gate and this are completely different ends of the spectrum, mate.
Right? Yeah. I thought
Like this is your so Baldur's Gate 3 is your RPG diehards, I would say.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And this one is for like the average person that watches Avengers movies.
Right. Yeah.
It's got that like big budget popcorn movie feel to it.
Yeah.
And Baldur's Gate has that indie darling Oscar winner feel to it.
Yeah. So it maybe it is a calculated move by them then to sort of say, right, well, you know what, the hardcore they're going to be upset whatever we do, because they tend to be the most like passionate and all that sort of stuff. So let's try and find a potential new audience, and let's see if we can, some of the stuff like you mentioned there, some of the virtue signaling, obviously that's a bit more prominent with the younger generations, I would say, today. So maybe they have purposely done it that way.
Yeah, and I think so. But you still get these trolls that like I've dismissed it completely because of it's LGBTQ leanings. But mate, Baldur's Gate 3 could be the gayest game I've ever played if you wanted it to be.
Oh yeah, it could. Yeah. But again, it comes to like how it's done. I think
it does.
Going back to the review I watched of Skill Ups, I think there was one scene in it where he was shown like a cut scene, and it was basically someone had mispronounced, they'd used the wrong pronouns on a character, and that character like sort of corrected them, and she said, "Oh, you know what, I'm sorry," and then she started like banging out press ups, and was like, "Oh, what you doing?" Said, "Oh, whenever we make a mistake, we do like press ups sort of thing," and it's quite like a noble message and all that, but it just seemed like, how can we need this bit of dialogue in here? Like, where can we put it? Oh, just put it there. Right, really, it doesn't really flow with the conversation. It doesn't matter. We need to get on with this. So just, get a sledgehammer and just smash it into place, and then we'll move on, sort of thing.
That's very much what it is, mate.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad game. Like, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like,
good.
Like, levels of writing and storytelling between this and Baldur's Gate, obviously, there's no comparison. But how many games compared to Baldur's Gate 3's writing
exactly
and voice acting? Yeah. What I like about this, right, my main character's a total dep. so I'm starting to play that way, like, she's like this overconfident Mr. Bean style hero. And,
right.
And because I'd adjusted her face a little bit in the character creation, so as when she talks, like her teeth overlap her bottom lip, so she looks like she's making a silly face to the other character.
Oh, so is that based on the way that you've designed the character in the character design screen? Is it? It's not like a bug, right? Okay.
No, I think I've just made her lips too thin. But I'm like, I need to leave them like that, because she looks so funny when she's smacking someone all teethy and stupid. So I'm kind of endeared to my main character, like, and the character creator was like top draw, mate, really strong, loads of options to do. Yeah. Give her a different hairstyle after every mission, just so she can sort out a look. But yeah, it doesn't deserve all the really harsh criticism. I also don't think it deserves all the really 9 out of 10, 5 out of 5 reviews.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah, okay.
So far. Well,
I think what this might fall into one of my categories of I'll stick it on my wish list on Steam. When it gets to, I don't know, 15 quid, I might pick it up.
So I only paid 30 quid for it. I didn't pay 60 quid for it.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
So it wasn't full price for me. And like I said, I'm enjoying it. It's something for me to play while Ivy's at school. I can get my teeth into it. I'll probably keep you updated as I get on with it. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But let's talk phasmophobia, Harry.
Oh God, yeah. So I mean, we picked this up on basically was it the day it came out or the day after?
We were excited, weren't we?
Yeah, well, me, you, and Steve were on, weren't we? And we decided we were going to game that night, and we all started downloading phasmophobia. Really, we all decided on let's just buy it, sort of thing. I think you and Steve went halves, didn't you? So you paid $5 each.
Yeah.
Your game share thing.
In context, I played it for 36 hours now.
Well, yeah, you've had your money's worth, haven't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, we went in, and I mean, the first time that we played, obviously, we had zero clue what we were doing. I think the first map, you and Steve died in the same room. Like, we were all just stood there watching the ghost kill Steve, and then it killed you. And I thought, I should actually probably run away, yeah. So I did. And then, yeah, we were absolutely, terrified, weren't we? Like, every time we heard a noise, it was like, oh, what was that? And then you sort of did a bit of research into it, like, you know what, lads, like, this is how we're actually supposed to play the game.
It's got an aim, hasn't it?
Yeah. There is that. When you approach it as what it is supposed to be, it's like a detective game where you're trying to find stuff out. It becomes a completely different game, doesn't it? And then the session that we played, where it was me, you, Matty, and Gadge, I think it was on a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever it was. That was absolutely brilliant. That wasn't it? We had so much fun playing that. Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, God, Ivy absolutely put the shit up me and Gadge at one point. So there's that tool you can use where you can sort of speak out, and some of the ghosts will talk back to you. So you had it, and you were talking into it, saying, "Oh, hello, can you hear me? Hello?" And then Ivy answered you and said, "Hello." And me and Gadge were like, "Oh my God, did you hear that? What was that? Let's get out of here! Run away! Run away! There's a creepy child talking to us." It was we absolutely bricked it and ran off to the van, and I think you were just laughing at us in the background. But yeah, there's so much sources of fun. I mean, I wish I'd have been there when you locked Matty in the room with the ghost.
Oh, Matty's training session was an absolute beauty. So first game, I thought, I'm gonna have to have something with me, introduce him properly. And I figured out straight away he was in the garage. So I said, yeah. I knew his sanity was low. I thought it's gonna get him straight away. So because he just walks home his thermometer. I'm contributing to the investigation. This is what I've got. I've got a thermometer. Go in there, mate, take a temperature. And as he went in, I ran, and there's 2 doors in the garage, so I closed them both, and then ran out the front door. As I got out the front door, it slammed behind me. I thought, oh, he's done. He's so done. And because of the really cool sound design in game chat, I could hear his muffled screams in the distance.
Yeah, I must say that the way they've done the sound in it is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? So it works off proximity, doesn't it? If you use the the Xbox Party Chat or Discord or something, it won't have the same effect. You have to go into the in-game sort of voice chat, and then when you're close to each other, it sounds normal, and then as you get further away, it gets more muffled and quieter. But you also have a radio option which you can press. But if you're in a house, if you're hiding from the ghost in the house, if you use the radio, the ghosts are they're alerted by the electric signals, aren't they? So that you've got more chance of it coming and getting you. I think there was one point the last time me, you, and Steve played, we were all hiding from this ghost, and Steve comes on the radio. He goes, "Where is it? I can't see the ghost. Is anyone around?" And you just went, "Steve, shut the fuck up," and just turned it off.
Oh, its emerging gameplay is absolutely top drawer, isn't it?
Yeah. It has. It's got that lovely mix of like the jankiness in it, which is hilarious as well.
I love the joke. It's such a funny game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time me and you played it, we were waiting for, like, I think our games had downloaded, so we were waiting in the lobby, and I think Steve's game was at like 90%, and we were just waiting for the last 10% to get downloaded. So we were just sort of hanging about in the lobby, and even just the way our characters were walking in it, like, I think yours was moonwalking at one point. I think man was floating, you said, and it's just funny, isn't it? Like, one of the ones yesterday where I had the camera, the Polaroid camera, and I went to go put it back on like the pegs in the van, and there was obviously like a graphics glitch because my hands were still on the camera on the pegs, so it looks as though it's like taking my hands off. There's loads of like weird little quirks and stuff like that, but I mean, yeah, it's got that game it's terrifying as well when the ghosts sort of comes out and comes to get you and stuff. Oh god,
I've been playing solo, mate.
You are a psychopath for doing that.
You'd think when you start to get good at the game and you know what you're doing, you wouldn't be as scared, but that's not true in any way.
No.
Every time one of those ghosts comes straight back to you over the ghost box, I still shit myself and drop it.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Like today, I walked into the house. I play it on intermediate now on my own as well, so I've gone up a difficulty level.
Yeah.
So I ran straight to the basement to turn the brake on. As I clicked it, all the lights exploded and the red flashed. I was like, oh my god.
Oh no.
So I've run upstairs and I've noticed the fucking mirrors the cursed mirrors in the hallway. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I can get that, and I can find out where it is. So I put it in the hallway and I did it. I was actually had it up for a second. I put it down and I heard the door slam behind me, and the ghost has come crawling down the hallway towards me.
Oh my god.
I just stopped me. I thought, there's no way I'm avoiding this.
Well, that must have been a demon then, if it's attacking you straight on.
Yeah, it was a demon. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm learning.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick up characteristics for the ghost now. So I think I've had like 6 or 7 successful hunts today. I'm like level 22 now.
Very good.
So I've got the upgraded torch, the upgraded EMF, which is a game changer.
Yeah.
And the upgraded UV torch, which is awesome. It basically does a big purple globe around you. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But really good at recognising the ghosts. But I've had the ghosts in so many weird rooms today. Like one of them was in the hall as I walked in. So I walked in and all the stuff came off the tables in front of me. Like, well, fucking ghost here, isn't it? I still got it wrong. So are you fucking with me?
Yeah, it is tough still, isn't it? I mean, some of it, we've had a few where we're convinced it's one type of ghost, and then it turns out not to be, and you're like, how have we got that wrong?
Mate, because I've got a system now that I use to like do a run through the house as I get in.
Yeah.
To try and like find out what that first room is. And if my system doesn't find the ghost room in my first run, I am absolutely screwed. And I've no idea. Like, I was convinced today that it was in the master bedroom. And I thought, it's got to be in there. Do you know where I've had any like kind of reading or anything?
Yeah.
And I've set up all my stuff and I've walked in the kitchen. The fucking ghost appeared in the corner. Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I've had to go get on my gear, put on the kitchen, and it was a fucking... Was it? The one that messes with all the electrical stuff. So as I got in there with my camera, it shorted out and chased me through the hallway. I am getting better at running away.
Yeah.
So I die very little now, but obviously I'm still only on intermediate level, playing on the beginner map. So
yeah,
got a long way to go yet.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things, isn't it? You have to kind of scope out a few hiding places where you can sort of go. I mean, the one that we were playing the other day where there was like the crucifix on the floor, and you were like, right, I'm gonna light these. This isn't gonna go very well. And it like I went and hid at the end of the garage because there's a little sort of like cubby hole you can go in. And the ghost came out straight away and killed you, didn't it? And
instantly.
I heard Steve run off upstairs. And I waited like downstairs for I think like a minute or so. And as I started coming back up the stairs, my torch started flickering, and I started hearing all these noises. And I was like, "Oh no!" So I went and hid in the garage. And then just as I went to come out, my heart started beating really loudly. So I was like, "Oh, it still must be there." And then I heard a door open, and footsteps, and then I just heard Steve's character die, and I was like, "Oh, he's come out of the cupboard." I think he said that it turned the shower on. So he thought it was in another room, and he was going to try and like run out of the door. But obviously the door was locked because it was hunting us. So he just got it wrong, unfortunately.
To be fair though, he's kind of clicked with it, hasn't he? He's got his little job that he does beginning of every round. And he's contributed more to this game. He has a lot of games.
He has, yeah. Well, I think it sort of suits him a game like that. You know, he obviously loves his horror sort of stuff, doesn't he? And as I say, it's it's one of them games where it's kind of easy to play but difficult to master, I would say.
Yes, yeah. Like you watch the expert players and they can tell you what the ghost is like seconds into a map. I'm like, how does he know that that's what that is? He hasn't even seen it.
Yeah.
Well, like playing on Nightmare difficulty where I hunch it instantly from walking into the bloody map. I'm like, I've got no interest in playing it on Nightmare difficulty.
Never.
Think we could step up to professional? No,
I don't think so.
I think we could. I do. The only difference is you don't get any cooldown at the start of the match. You don't have like that setup period.
Yeah, but I kind of think we need that though to identify like at least which room it's in, or otherwise we're just gonna have to all stick together, aren't we? And sort of take it slowly.
Yeah, it doesn't always help. I thought was it me, you and Steve were doing that like the different map the other night, and when it started hunting, we all hid in different corners of the garage, and somehow we all survived.
Yeah.
It's just it's probably the most fun I've had playing a game in a long time. This.
It is brilliant. I mean, the value for money for it. I mean, as I say, like you two paid like a $5 each and shared it. I think I paid £11 for it on Steam. It's really worth it, and it's just there's so much fun. I mean, for such a quite a small concept for a game, the amount of replayability on it is endless, isn't it? Because each game you play is unique because of how the different types of ghost and how it plays out, what room it's in, what sort of behaviour it has, and how you sort of deal with that, and where you hide, when you die, all that sort of stuff. Each game is unique, and it's really good.
And the thing is about this game, like we've played it quite a bit already, but we've barely scratched the surface with it.
No, well, I think I've only played on sort of 3 different maps altogether, and there's is it 15 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
lovely. It's still in development, so they're going to add more maps as they go.
Yeah.
Add different ghost types. I know they're adding customization for your character. So I've done quite a lot of the maps. So I did the lighthouse, which is horrifying. It's just a big circular house.
Yeah.
It goes up 11 floors. I'm like, oh my god.
With not many places to hide, I'm guessing. Yeah.
I couldn't find any hiding places at all. I didn't last very long on the lighthouse map. And we were playing it on professional as well. And honestly, it was rough.
Yeah.
But I played the insane asylum, the hospital, with these 3 random lads. And they were quite good at it. But the hospital's got like 30 odd rooms to look through.
Yeah.
On over 3 floors, and we found the ghost in on the 3rd floor in a toilet.
Oh, God.
Couldn't have been further away from the exit.
Yeah.
So we set up all our gear. I was still new. I had no idea what I was doing. And the other one of the lads goes, I'm going to go get some more gear from the van, and just never came back. Like, oh, what the fuck? Is he dead? Is he just hiding in the van?
Yeah.
But one of the guys guessed it quite quickly, and we all just ran for it at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was the first correct ghost they had, but now I'm getting better at it. I do identify quite a few ghosts, but I just think it's going to be easy, multiple hours of gameplay there for us to enjoy.
Oh, there is, yeah. I'll go back to that one. I think the first one that me, you, and Gadge got correctly, it was our last one for the night, wasn't it?
We had a bad night, hadn't we?
Yeah, it was in the garage. But yeah, I think. Did Gadge die in that one because he was trying to get a picture of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he sent some clips through to our chat, didn't he? And when you listen back to it, like, it's so funny, like listening to us and like the fear and panic in our voices as we're saying, "Oh, it's on the map, it's coming for you," and stuff like that. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And then we got it right. We were all so relieved, weren't we? Because it was the first one we got.
That was brilliant, because like you still in the van, didn't you? Me and Gadge went in.
Yeah, I'd checked out by that point. Like, my nerves were done. I think I'd been killed a few times, and the previous map, I saw it coming right for me, the ghost, and I somehow managed to escape it. And I was like, yeah, this one, I'm staying in the van, lads. I'm not going back in there.
But obviously, we thought it was the ghost that is attracted to sound, didn't we? So me and Gadge went in on a stealth mission.
Yeah.
And we snuck in. No one spoke. No lights on. Just snuck in, crouched. And the second we got in the garage, the fucking door shut on Gadge, and he was done. And I ran back to the van. I was like, if Gadge was alive, what would you do? Go back to another picture? And we didn't. We just fucking built it.
No, we just went. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes so many great moments. I don't see me getting bored of it anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's loads of fun. Yeah, it really is good.
That's enough gushing for Phasmophobia. If anyone hasn't played it, honestly, it's worth every penny. Probably one of the best games I've played in years, especially with friends. I don't think I think it's on a level with Sea of Thieves, co-op-wise, for that emergent gameplay style of level. I would recommend to pick it up. And if you want to play with us, just drop us a message and we'll get you on. I mean, we will get you killed. Steve's died so many times. But yeah, we'll probably, obviously, we'll get Gadge and Sion for their thoughts on it, like, at some point as well. But yeah, Harry came up with a little theme for this episode, mate. Do you want to explain to listeners what's going on with our little feature?
Yeah, so I thought for once I'd put Ian to work, because normally, I'm the one writing, topics and stuff like that Ian sort of sets us. So I thought for once I'll let him do the work. So obviously, as I said at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the episode, I'm getting quite close to the end of Fallout London. I think I've probably, maybe got like 10 hours max left in that game. And then the next game I really want to play is going to be Atomfall, but that's not out until March. So I've basically got, the best part of 3 months. And I don't really know what to play. I've got a few things on my Steam library and a few things on my Xbox Play Later stuff, and a few sort of things I've looked at and been put off by. So I thought I would set Ian the challenge of him sort of finding 4 or 5 games for me, but I think he's come up with way more from what he was telling me the other day.
Way more, mate.
And he's going to discuss them and I'm going to sort of look them up on Google while he's sort of describing them to me. And if he manages to sufficiently impress me, I'm going to buy the game that he recommends me, and then I'll sort of like report back to it for content for the podcast as well, and we'll see how good of a recommender Ian is. So
really good.
Yeah. So I know you've got you've got a bunch of games from me, haven't you, mate? So the floor is yours.
I think I've got 13 games on my list.
Okay.
So we'll cover them like a couple of minutes each. See what you think of them all.
Yeah.
If you want any more information on some ones that you fancy, we'll go a bit more into depth on them.
Okay.
But I think you have to start at Death Stranding, because obviously we've mentioned it before and we talked on the show about it.
Yeah.
One of the most polarising Marmite games probably ever made. Solid 9 out of 10 for me. Finished it twice. I've finished every game on this list as well, so
okay.
I've stuck with them all. Death Stranding stars Norman Reedus, Mars Mickelson, Leia Seydoux, Margaret Qualley, all these Hollywood actors, and has random cameo appearances from Nicholas Winding Refn, who's a bit of a random Norwegian film director who makes really strange films that I don't like. Have you ever seen Drive with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
He directed that and has an acting part in this game. Guillermo del Toro, the famous horror director, also created Hellboy, among many other great films like Pan's Labyrinth. Tells the story of Sam Porter Bridges, who is played by Norman Reedus, who you play as.
Right.
And this is tough because I have to explain these games without going into real spoiler territory.
Yeah. So I mean, how long would you say Death Stranding takes to finish?
So my first run took me 24 hours.
24 hours.
My second run took me 12.
Right. Okay. Right.
And I did more content the second time.
Yeah. So I mean, typically the type of games I play are either 4 hours or sort of 80. So this is kind of in the middle, isn't it? Really. So it's a bit of a chunky game, but not one that I'm going to get lost in. So
10 hours of cutscenes, 10 hours of gameplay.
Right. Okay. Right. So it's very cinematic and story driven.
Very cinematic. Lots of talking, lots of cool set pieces. Gameplay is generally you alone traversing this amazing world, which looks like something out of like the Nordic mountain tops. It's all mountains and rivers and snow. It's beautiful. The world is one of my favourites in any game. It looks stunning.
Yeah.
This is a strange game because it starts off quite difficult, but gets progressively easier as you play it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because the whole game's point is overcoming challenges.
Yeah.
And getting better at things and making connections. Yes, it is very much a walking game, but it's so much more than that. Like the gear you get that helps you traverse these environments, it's all rock climbing and going through rivers. I mean, you will fall off a cliff and lose your packages, 100%.
But I mean, some walking games are brilliant. Also, I mean, obviously, I've talked on this podcast before about games like Jusant and Firewatch, which are both absolutely adored. So
yeah,
I'm not averse to a walking simulator.
No, and this is probably people call it a walking simulator, but it definitely is a bit more involved gameplay wise. There is obviously enemies in the world.
Right.
Combat is minimal though. It's very much a stealth game, I would say.
Right.
Or like even just completely avoiding the areas that the enemies are in by using different traversal methods to get around them, like ladders, ropes, more obscure shit as you play it, which I won't spoil.
Yeah.
What's he called? That talk show host, the big chin, ginger guy, Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
He's in it randomly.
Is he? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you meet like different settlements with different characters, so you can do side quests for them. So there is like side content.
Yeah.
There's vehicles that are crap on purpose, so your life isn't that easy.
Right. Okay.
But it's its story, mate. It's wild, completely wild. It goes places you would not expect it to go. Obviously, the main villain is played by Troy Baker, who's obviously video game royalty. And there's also a bit more grey character played by Mars Mikkelsen, and I didn't really like his segments, but they kind of tie in massively to the game's story. It's really hard to go into detail.
Yeah. So I noticed this week that I can't remember if it was you or Gadge put in our chat. Is it a director's cut that's out?
Yeah.
Do you know what is that? Just adding more stuff into the game, or is it refining it, or do you know anything about that cut?
I know everything about it. I've finished the standard version and the director's cut.
Right. Okay.
Director's cut is much more. I wouldn't say streamlined, but it still is the same game, but it has more gear.
Yeah.
More quality of life features, some extra side content, which is actually really cool, which I enjoyed. It's just probably a better version of the game, in all fairness.
Right.
Even though apparently Kojima, to create the game, prefers his original version, I definitely preferred the director's cut because it was a bit more quality of life. Like, there are points where it is not fun to play, but that is kind of the point. When it clicks, you go, I get it, I get what this game's trying to do, and you start enjoying its story, then it's one of those games that ends and then keeps going for 4 hours and gives you an even more wild ending.
Yeah. Okay, right. I mean, it's 16 quid, isn't it, on CD key? So it's
it's worth every. I paid full price for it on release, mate.
Right. Okay.
and I've loved it ever since. I go back to it to play it to relax now, just by because when you finish the game, you can go back into it and do deliveries randomly. And because the soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks in gaming, it just makes it a total joy just to get around that world and just like deliver parcels. And people didn't like it because you basically like Hermes Driver, the game, but it's so much more than that. If you embrace it, I think it's one of the best games like that was made last gen.
Right.
Like, I'd put it above like The Last of Us, mate, and God of War and stuff like that. I generally think that highly of it.
Right.
But because it's so Marmite, it's a real risk.
Yeah, so I'm either going to love it or I'm going to hate it.
But I think you appreciate game design, Harry, and like stories and characters.
Yeah.
And this has it all, as all of that.
Okay, right. I must admit, I have been intrigued by it. I think in the last podcast we were all on, yourself and Gadge were sort of like exfoliating about it. So, I have been interested in it.
Okay. Put a pin in that one, mate. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Next one, the one we've talked about on the show, and then we're going to get a bit more random after this one. So, Cult of the Lamb, mate, which you've heard me gush about many times.
Yeah.
Probably not the kind of game you would play this, right?
I don't. To be honest, I don't know a great deal about it.
So, you play a lamb that is sacrificed to the devil.
Right. Okay.
The devil is being imprisoned by 3 other devils, and this one the main one offers you a deal that if he brings you back to life, you will spread his word by starting a cult and hunt down the 3 demons that have imprisoned him to release him from his jail.
Right.
So top-down isometric style game. So basically, the main crux of the game is you have like basically one area where you can build a cult with like different like houses, bedding, toilets, like crafting areas, that kind of thing. Like so, like you get wood and stone and gold. A cult house where you can conduct sermons, which give your character special abilities and upgrade your cult members. You can rename all the cult members, so you give them all your friends' names to make it even funnier when weird shit happens to them. You have to sacrifice them to somebody, or they get stolen by somebody, because a lot of weird shit happened to this game.
Yeah,
it's got a very cutesy graphical style if you look at it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that now. So yeah, it's very cartoony, very bright. All the characters got big eyes, and as you say, cute is the right sort of word for it, isn't it?
This is why I love this game. It's all top show because this is one of the most sinister games I've ever played.
Yeah,
it's got a real sinister underbelly and real weird tones going on. Like everyone you meet is weird and sinister.
Yeah.
So there's like different side areas you can go to that have like missions and characters to meet, but the main point of the game is when you're going off to collect resources and find new cult members, it's kind of like procedurally generated combat maps.
Right.
So you'll go into a room, you're clearing there. Then you go to another room that might have a reward or somebody to rescue or more enemies. And you basically complete like a grid of rooms across like a little map.
So it's a bit of a dungeon crawler.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So there's a dungeon crawling element and the base building element.
Right.
The combat's really good. Different weapons, different spells. You get bosses at the end of each stage, which when you kill them, you can then recruit them as a follower. I think I had like 40 odd followers at one point, which was completely unmanageable. There was shitting and dying everywhere, mate.
How many are you supposed to have, or is that up to you?
I'd say 20 is a sweet spot, but you can go as far as you want, mate.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I ran out of followers with my first run through. But every fucker, I had no idea what I was doing. They all died.
So, and with as your lamb as well, can you learn different types of skills and so sort of do different builds, or is it all there's one path to follow as the main character?
It's quite a lot of scope. You can wear like different like crowns for your character, which give you different abilities, but also have a negative effect.
Yeah.
There's huge skill trees, both for combat and for like building stuff in your little village for all your houses that you have to unlock. Because you need resources to build them and buy them, and then it takes time for your people to make them. Your followers can turn on you, at which point you can put them in jail if you want, or sacrifice them.
Is that if you make bad decisions that they'll turn on you?
I told you everyone's got a bit of an undertone to them.
Right.
Like, I got married to Baz, and then he turned on me and wanted to like become head of the cult, so I put him in jail until he died. I was like, bye, mate.
Right.
It's like weird emergent moments that like are completely random, and but it's quite a lot of it's procedurally generated, so you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's like a system where you can send a cult member off on a mission, and I never had one of the bastards come back alive. Like, what do I have to do, mate? It's a 1-star mission. But it's just brilliant. Like, so you conduct sermons, and that basically uses your spirit level to upgrade your character, so you get new abilities.
Yeah.
I went very much for like a necrotic poison kind of build in combat with a big hammer. You don't even use a knife, sword. You've got spells you can use. Final bosses are quite challenging for each. It is a very tough game, the combat side of it.
And is that how you sort of, I dare say, by beating those bosses in those dungeons, that's how you get more resources to build up your base or village or whatever? Yeah,
you get resources from that. Also, you've got spots in your village where you can mine as well, and chop down and make wood. So make so you give them all little jobs to do. It's like a cooking station. You have to keep them fed, otherwise they'll all turn on you.
Yeah, okay.
So I was feeding them the parts of the previously dead cult followers.
My god!
Because they had a lot of them.
Yeah.
But the dungeon crawling bits last from like 4 minutes, like 12 minutes. They don't outstay the welcome. It's all quite bite-sized.
Right.
So you're kind of managing like your cult time and your combat time quite sufficiently.
Yeah.
It's not a long game. Like a good run should probably take about 10 hours to see everything in the game.
Okay.
And get a good cult. The whole point is to like do it again and get a different experience from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a really weird mix, but just really, really works. And one of the side characters is one of the more sinister in any game I've ever played, and made me feel generally uncomfortable every time you ask me for something.
Okay, right. Well, I mean, this is £7 on CD keys.
Oh my god, mate!
Yeah.
Let's just buy them all.
Buy all these games.
Yeah.
It's not the money side. It's the time. I wouldn't have time. I don't have time to play all these. That's the issue. You have to sell me a banger that can get me through, or if it might be 2 or 3 or whatever, depending on how big of a game they are. Just as long as they get me through to Atomfall.
Well, Death Stranding was my game of the year that year it came out. And Cut the Lamb was my second choice to Vampire Survivors game of the year that year.
All right, yeah.
So they're 2 bangers there, mate.
Yeah.
I will die in that tree. Are you putting them in some kind of ranking here, by any chance?
I've got a notepad open, and I'm just writing like the name of them, how long it takes to beat, a little bit of the narrative that you've told me, and how much it costs on either CD keys or Steam.
Are you going to make a choice tonight, or going to save it for next week?
I'll probably. Yeah, I'll go in. I'll digest it, and I'll do it that way.
Okay. Next one on the list.
Yeah.
Oxenfree. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about this one.
You have told me about it, but again, it's one of them ones I've never played. Am I right in saying that Steve's played this one as well?
Steve loves it.
Has he? Right.
So I finished this 4 times, and this one game of the year it came out for me.
Yeah.
This is a real strange one. Have you got it up to have a look at it?
Yeah, I'm looking at like the art style looks very nice.
It's real nice, all hand drawn. Like
I was gonna say it has that sort of that like a freestyle quality to it.
I think this is a very you kind of game. Like 3 hours long, this.
Right. Okay.
But mildly terrifying.
Right.
It's very much like a cosmic horror game. And I can't explain its plot because nothing I could tell you about this game would not be a spoiler.
Right, okay.
You basically play as a girl who goes like on a boat to this island to meet her friends for a party. And as soon as you get there, weird shit happens.
Yeah.
There's dialogue trees, so you can affect the relationships of certain characters, which will then affect their fates as well. So it's not just like A to B. There's very much a story, and like you can affect its story. It's got multiple endings as well. What was cool about this game when Oxenfree 2 came out, Oxenfree 2 started to invade the first game, so if you played it, weird stuff was happening. So that tied into the second one, which I thought was really cool of them to do. It has that lovely 2D side-scrolling art style. Like, a lot of the game is spent basically walking from point to point. This really beautiful map.
Yeah.
Having conversations with your characters, but the voice acting is amazing. The script is amazing. The visuals, when it really kicks in and the weird stuff starts to happen, is like, for a 2D game, it's so nice and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah. So how does the sequel stack up to it then?
I've only played a little bit of it.
Oh yeah.
I keep forgetting I've got it, mate.
Yeah.
It's been lost in the sea of games.
Yeah.
But I finished this one 4 times, Oxenfree. And had a different experience every time I played it with different endings.
Right.
So, but yeah, 3 hours long, beautiful, haunting, generally will make your skin crawl. And I know horror isn't your thing.
No, it's not, no.
But this is a one-off list. Like, I was absolutely blown away when this came out. I put it on a level with, like, Little Nightmares, but probably better than that.
Is it scarier than, say, Still Wicks Are Deep?
Oh, the Still Wicks Are Deep was jump scare, wasn't it? This one is very much atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's like, it gets on your skin, this one.
Right, okay.
And a game that looks like this shouldn't be scary. But like some parts are like, oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, was the best game that came out that year when this came out. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And you played it for like £2, right?
Well, let's have a look. How much is it on CD keys? It's saying, £6.99 on CD keys, but then the one below it says £3.93. So I might be able to get it a bit cheaper somewhere. Yeah.
It's not expensive at all. I think it regularly goes down like £1, mate, in the Steam sale this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Oxenfree.
Right. Okay.
Next one's a bit of a departure from the indie games. I've got Watch Dogs Legion. Have you ever played a Watch Dogs game?
I haven't. Is this where you basically are like hacking? Is this the one set in London? Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. I think I know about it. It's a bit more open worldy, isn't it? And you can interact with the environment to do missions in different ways. Is that about right?
Yeah, so it is open world London. It's not the biggest open world you'll ever see, so it's not overwhelmingly big, I would say. Quite by the numbers, like gameplay wise. You'll just like hack stuff. You have stealth missions, which are great. To be fair, you go into locations and stealth around them. Obviously, there's combat and stuff. There's driving around. There's standard. You can fly around on a big drone if you want. I scaled the whole city flying around on a big drone. Yeah. The selling point of this game is like it's London is really well realised. I fully enjoyed playing like a game set in London because there's not that many. That's just like the Getaway back in the day on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Its main selling point is there isn't a main protagonist at all.
Right.
Any NPC in the world, you can play as them.
Right.
So at the beginning of the game, you get a choice of like a few different people, but then you can immediately go out and recruit anyone in the street. So you scan them with your mobile phone.
Yeah.
They've all got different like strengths and weaknesses. So every single NPC, no exceptions.
Yeah.
So you can make your squad of like spies basically whatever you want them to be. So, for example, I watched a gay guy play through it who just had geriatric spies. And none of them could run away or climb anything, but they all had guns. So,
right.
And if you watch it, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, my main hero became like a girl I recruited from a building site just so I could have a drone, but she was like the main protagonist by the end of my playthrough.
Yeah.
I had like a guy who thought he was James Bond, but he was crap at it.
Am I right in sort of say I'm getting the vibe that this is the game that doesn't sort of take itself too seriously. It's all just like a bit of fun and.
For the most part, I think this game is what you want it to be. I think because you can customize your squad composition so much and approach missions like so openly in different ways, depending on who is in your team. It didn't review great. This I think it's absolutely fantastic. And yes, it doesn't take itself too seriously. Some of the dialogue is very cringy, cockney, but like it was almost AI written. But then you get some really deep and hard story beats as the game goes on. Like I thoroughly enjoyed its storyline.
Yeah.
There's an Assassin's Creed subplot in there as well, where you meet an assassin who you can then get on your team.
Right.
Who then completely breaks the game because she's so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
But this one's a bit off kilter because I know this isn't generally your kind of game, is it? Other than like
No.
GTA.
Yeah. Who made Watch Dogs? Do you know the
Ubisoft,
studio?
mate.
Ubisoft,
So
yeah.
yeah, so
That's why you get there. Yeah.
very
How,
Assassin's.
how long is
Creed.
it? How long did you say it takes to beat this?
I did 80% of it in 20 hours.
20
That
hours.
was including side content. That obviously you
Right.
don't have to do all that, but I kind of did because I enjoyed playing it so much.
Yeah.
And that was, I think I did it over like 2 weeks. And then I was at a point where I could finish the story quite early on, but like I just did a lot of side stuff and just enjoyed myself in the world, like pub fights and darts and weed stuff like that as well. You can take part in.
Mm. It seems to be it's getting decent scores here. I'm looking on, so CD Keys is give it basically four and a bit stars. It's got 86% on Steam, so it seems to have people seem to like it.
I think if you play it, it's one of them because it is what you make it and how you enjoy it however you want to enjoy it. It's just quite open, and like I appreciated that.
Yeah,
Like, I wasn't a fan of Watch Dogs 1 and 2 at all, but this one really clicked with me straight away.
Okay, right.
I've got like a second playthrough going at the moment, and because I haven't done the DLC yet, so I've heard it's really good, the expansion. And it's probably really cheap to get the full like deluxe edition of this game.
How is there only one expansion? Is there, or is it one of them things where there's loads of them?
No, just one. It brought back characters from like the first 2 games, and had them work together. It's like a buddy cop style of storyline.
Mm. Okay. Right.
But yeah, that's a bit of a departure from your usual indie stuff. If you find something a bit more AAA.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's really odd. I'm going into weird territory now after this one.
Right.
So this is the Banner Saga.
The Banner Saga. I've never heard of that.
No, I didn't think you would have. Drag it up, have a look at its art style.
Yeah, I'm just having a look now. So again, very sort of cartoony, sort of similar camera position as I would say like Baldur's Gate, where you're at probably like a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Looks again very hand drawn-y.
Very. It looks like an 80s or 90s cartoon.
Yeah. So what type of game is it then?
This is an odd one. I mean, they all are on this list.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is. It's like a Viking story. I'm trying to go spoiler territory here.
Yeah.
So you're like basically a king of some Vikings, and you and your daughter head off on this mission to defeat this evil that's threatening like the Nordic lands. Combat is like turn-based tactical, like Baldur's Gate. So you move around like a grid system and tactically attack different enemies. You usually have different characters and different units, very much like Baldur's Gate combat-wise. Right. That's why I thought of this one for you. Combat's great, really fun. Get loads of abilities and loads of characters that like affect different fights in different ways. I wouldn't say it's particularly hardcore either, so it's quite nice for people new to this kind of genre, but also has a bit of a challenge to it.
Yeah.
It's mids like almost like games that mix genres, me, because this one definitely does as well.
Yeah.
So when you're not in combat, you're kind of traveling between different Nordic towns and dealing with their problems in kind of like a visual novel style of kind of way.
Yeah.
So they'll have problems and you can deal with them like in a harsh way or a nice way or like something a bit more grey. And it will affect your journey through this game in different ways. Like I didn't know there was a few different endings, and the one I got was not what I wanted. Like
you got a bad ending. Yeah.
Speaks to me, right? That's how I play games. The bad endings.
Yeah.
But this one tells an absolutely amazing story from beginning to end. And by the end, I was like, I can't believe that's how it's going to end.
Yeah.
But it doesn't end. There's also Banner Saga 2 and 3 that carries all your choices over to the next game.
All right. Okay.
I have them all. I just haven't played 2 and 3 yet.
Right.
But I finished this, Harry, in one sitting and was gripped.
Right. How long was that one sitting?
6 hours.
6 hours. Right. All
It's
right,
not
okay.
overly long,
Yeah.
but
So
great story.
I think the question I was going to ask is, while I'm playing this, am I going to be comparing it to Baldur's Gate 3? But I don't think I'm going to, am I?
I think it's different enough that you would appreciate it as
Yeah.
well as Baldur's Gate. It's not Baldur's Gate, absolutely not.
Yeah.
This is it's completely own
Yeah.
game. Its combat's great though, and its turn-based stuff's really, really good. And like seeing all your characters' abilities and figuring out, it's almost like a chessboard kind of thing.
Right, okay.
But I fully enjoyed the combat. I never got bored of the combat once, and like some of the battles are like really big scale. But it was its story that got me. Like the characters are really cool, and it just keeps progressing and ramping up and progressing. So you get like a great or bad ending. I mean, the bad ending was still great, but it didn't turn out well for one of the characters that I really liked. So
Yeah. So is it like sort of you fight in groups, do you? And or is it just one character versus many?
I think it starts off like one or two, but as you go on, it gets like more and more. So it's like armies fighting each other. It's never like big scale like the Total War games like that. It's much more small scale than that, but it's still challenging enough to to make you think you'll be fine. You smash Baldur's Gate, so
Yeah.
But it's absolutely it's brilliant and one of the most underrated games I ever played. Like I picked it up for £2, I think.
Yeah, I was just on there. It's £2.62. I've seen it.
I'm not breaking your bank of any of these games, mate.
No, you're not, mate. No.
But this one's brilliant. Like great 6 hours. Fully enjoyed story. Fully enjoyed combat. Hugely underrated. I can imagine its reviews are quite high, right?
Let's have a look. Yeah, 9 out of 10 on Steam. From over 13,000 different reviews. 4.2 out of 5. It's 8.6 out of 10 on IGN. It's quite well liked. It looks like.
Yeah, and it's one of them. I picked it up and then didn't play it for 3 years after I bought it.
Yeah.
And then when I did, I was like, why have I not played this? And I've since done the same thing with the other two, which I bought immediately after finishing the first one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Right, so next I've got Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. Have you heard of this?
Kenna, is that K?
Kena.
Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. Never ever heard of that in my life.
Yeah.
2 minutes, let's have a look. Oh, it looks very pretty.
It's very pretty. One of the prettiest games I've played, I think.
Right.
This is one that when it got announced, I thought, this looks exactly like my kind of game.
Yeah.
So I pre-ordered it. I think it was £25 on release, so it's very much a double A game with triple A graphics.
Right.
Its graphics, for me, are some of the best I've ever seen in a game. Its art design, its world, its characters are just incredible. I can't believe they've not made a sequel, but I don't think it's sold particularly well.
Right, okay, right.
So the basic premise is you play as Kenna, who is like a spirit guide. She basically travels through this world and looks for lost spirits who then she can guide to their destination to basically pass over in the afterlife.
Right.
But the world's been kind of poisoned by this, it's kind of like the gunk, but a bit better than that.
That was exactly the question I was going to ask. What you so you're going around and you sort of cleansing little areas and
pretty much. There's like these bad areas. And when you cleanse it, mate, the graphical flourish is just sort of like, oh my god, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
But along the way, you get these little monsters that become your friend. Have you seen them in the pictures? The
little black things, yeah.
Blobs.
Yeah.
So you basically grow an army of these little fairy friends, and you can put funny hats on them, and they're just adorable, and they do adorable things. Like if you stand still too long, some really cute shit happens in that game.
Yeah.
And they have a purpose though. They're not just fooling around being cute. They're they help you solve puzzles, by building bridges and helping in fights against enemies. Because there is combat, there is boss fights. Combat is challenging as shit in this game, but it doesn't look it, does it?
No, you
It's
wouldn't
not.
think so. Yeah, looking at the art style, you'd think it would be quite simplistic.
I had to knock this down to easy, mate. At one
Did you?
point, I
Right.
did. I could have fuck beat the last boss. Um, but this is the one 6, 7 hours I would say this one
Yeah.
would take. I don't even know if it's on Steam. Is it on Steam?
I'm just gonna have a look now.
It's not a PlayStation exclusive. I'm sure it's on Steam.
Can bridge.
Probably a bit pricier this one, I would say.
Oh yeah, 31 quid.
Yeah, probably worth a sale. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's worth 31 quid.
Is it?
It's a hell of an experience. Got a great story, some great moments that I
Yeah,
cannot talk to you about because it would spoil the game.
yeah,
But it's quite like it's almost like an open world Metroidvania where you're getting new abilities to open certain parts of the map. None of them are overly big, so they don't over. It's not like Tomb Raider, you've got a million collectibles to collect. This is all quite self-contained
yeah,
and small scale. The areas aren't small scale; they look amazing, but it's all very manageable. I would say, like you get new abilities in every area, which help you progress in combat and in traversal. Story's
yeah,
amazing. It just looks amazing. It's one of the most charming games I've ever played.
yeah. So it's a kind of platformy and combat sort of game where you go around the world basically freeing all these cute little spirits.
And other major spirits,
Yeah. Okay.
which
Yeah.
obviously impact because there is like towns and stuff with characters, and you meet other NPCs and have quests for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's not like a lot of side content. It's all quite structured and quite straightforward. But
Yeah.
I'd say like the areas as you progress just like ramp up and just get better and better. Like the Gunka outstayed its welcome, didn't it? Very
It
much.
did. Yeah. Yeah. It went on like an hour and a bit too long, didn't it?
Yeah. This doesn't. It probably should
Doesn't.
have been double the length that it is.
Yeah.
And I always thought they'd make a second one and like blow it up into a bigger game, but it just hasn't happened for some reason. Because
Yeah.
this is absolutely solid 9 out of 10 game. This combat's brilliant, traversal's brilliant, graphics are incredible, and just I had to put it on this list because I don't think we've ever mentioned it on this show before.
No, we haven't. It's the first time I've ever heard of it. You've never talked to it about me before. Yeah, I've never heard of this one before.
It's a shame. Like
It's a weird one.
watch some videos of it, and you'll see how amazing it looks. Like
Yeah.
in motion, it just looks like outstanding.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
this is the one that got me. I finished it in 2 sittings, like 6, 7 hours. I think it took me.
Yeah.
It wasn't long, and a few of my friends played it at the same time. This is a game Steve would love, but it's not on
Yeah.
Xbox. It's only on
Well,
PlayStation and Steam.
it says here it is. It's on Xbox Series X and S.
Is it?
That's according to this. According to like this advert I'm looking on.
Oh, I thought it was a PlayStation. And give me one moment. Sorry, listeners, because if it is, I'm gonna have to double dip so I can play it on so I can play it again. Because I'm pretty sure I'm almost at 100% achievements on the PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm looking here on Xbox.com. Yeah, $34.99 in stock. So it's
Still
it's
full
pricey.
price.
Yeah. How long has this been out for?
About 4 years.
For 4 years. Yeah.
You can tell a good game when it doesn't drop in price.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like Nintendo, innit? They fucking never drop in price.
Well, yeah. So going back to my list, I've got Divinity Original Sin 2 on my
Never
Steam
drops
list.
in price.
I
Never.
am waiting for that fucker to drop beneath 30 quid, and then I'm going to strike, but he just won't.
It doesn't. I've been waiting for it to be 15 quid like since it came out. It just doesn't drop in price.
Ah, right. But so
Yeah.
so this might be another one like that then. They just don't, the back and the quality that they've got and thinking, it's worth it.
I think it's gone up in price.
That's it, right? Yeah.
I didn't pay that much for it, and I bought it on release. I think they've upgraded it a lot since it came out. I think they've added like more quality of life stuff to it, even though it was great anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously, I've only played it once and finished it, and I thought once is enough because that was my experience with that game. It was like watching a really good film.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely brilliant. And last of all, I'm going to take you right out your comfort zone.
Okay.
This is Detroit Become Human.
Right. Is that I think I know a little bit about that. I think I've seen some stuff about it. So this is where you play as are you like a sort of like a cyborg or something? Is that right?
Several cyborgs.
Right. Okay. Right.
This is not your kind of game in any way.
All right.
So this is very in that vein of like The Walking Dead, Life is Strange,
Yeah.
The Quarry. But I think this is different enough that it might get your attention.
Yeah.
But it's a bit more involved gameplay-wise, as well as having those big decisions to make that affect the story of the characters.
Mm.
So basically, you play as 3 different androids through the game. One of them's a detective. One of them's like basically a housemaid. This character, one of them.
Yeah.
And the one is basically like a babysitter for this abusive family.
Right.
And so they can. There's this thing wrong with the robots where they can go against their programming and go against the humans that have like bought them basically.
Yeah.
So it's all about how they then either hide that in reality or embrace it and become kind of a rebel robot. So you can affect that whether you want. You can take those choices and do what you want.
Right.
So you can play them good or bad. The detective guy's got a great like banter buddy cop thing with the guy. What's he called again? Clancy Brown.
Right.
He's like his buddy cop partner, and they have great chemistry. And like that story's brilliant. But then you've got the housemaid guy, whose owner is killed, and then he kind of is left to his own devices and has this whole awakening as like the leader of the robot resistance. If you want to go that way, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And the housemaid kind of starts to develop emotions for the daughter of this abusive family and wants to take her away and be a better mum than her like family is.
Yeah.
And then these 3 stories kind of intertwine with each other until you get like a big climatic ending. This is another one that didn't play out particularly well for one of my characters.
Yeah. Right.
But it's a lot more involved gameplay-wise. So you have like combat sections, you have like investigation detective sequences with the detective guy, which are really cool. Using his like AI to search like apartments for like clues and stuff. It's actually really good.
So it's a bit more open world than, like say like Life is Strange. You can wander about and do quests, in the order that you want, or is it, you have to do them in a set order sort of thing?
No, there is a set path through the game, but that will diverge depending on what you choose to do.
Yeah. Okay.
So at the end, when you finish the game, you get like a breakdown of all the different paths you could have taken. It's wild how far off it went.
Yeah.
Like this is probably one of the better types of this game. Like I've played all the games in the studio. So Heavy Rain was the first one, then Beyond Two Souls, then Detroit Become Human. They're currently working on a Star Wars game set in the Old Republic in this style.
All right. Okay. Right.
And I love this genre. This is one of my favourite genres, but I would say this one's the most accessible. So it's like playing a really big budget sci-fi movie.
Right, okay.
But you can affect it in certain ways. Like the voice acting's great, the characters are great. Yeah. Graphically, it's absolutely outstanding.
It looks like a film, doesn't it? Yeah. It looks really good. Yeah. How long to beat this one, would you say?
8 hours-ish, I would say.
8 hours, right? Not bad. Yeah.
And obviously that's 3 different characters as well. How much is this one? Out of interest on Steam?
This is saying it's $19.99.
Oh my, that's a bargain.
Is it? Right.
I paid full price for this as well on day one.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. But I love Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, despite the problems those 2 games have, which I've never really discussed on this show.
Has Steve played this? Detroit Become Human?
I don't think he has, because it's only on PlayStation again, this one. I think it's PlayStation. It's definitely not on Xbox, this.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's played any of the Quantic Dreams games. That's the guys that make this.
Right. But I'm guessing he'd sort of love this, wouldn't he?
Paul Barry loves it.
Does he? Right.
He loves it. He's played it 3 times.
Has he? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Steve would absolutely love this. It'd be up there with one of his best games of all time, this, I reckon.
Yeah.
But it's got that sci-fi hint and a bit noir as well.
Yeah. Intriguing.
But that's it. I think I'm done. I have cut my list down because otherwise I'd have been here all night. Because I probably could have gone on forever with this, mate.
Yeah.
To be fair, because I've played so many games.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a there's a variety of stuff there. There's loads of different types of genres. That you've kind of stuck to that middle ground in terms of how long it takes to beat. By and large, there's a 3-hour one and a 6-hour one, but the rest are all sort of, between 10 and like 30 hours sort of thing. So even that's a bit of a departure from what I normally play. So there's some food for thought for me there. There's a couple that I'm very intrigued by already, which I won't spoil.
What are you intrigued by? Come on, don't leave the listeners hanging like that.
Death Stranding. I really like the look of that kind of Bridge of Spirits as well.
Brilliant.
I really like the look of that.
So imagine if the gunk was good. This is that. And we both finished the gunk bit.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go and research all of them though, and I'll watch like a video of them, and and sort of see a bit more about them and stuff like that. But yeah, there might be there's a couple. I'm intrigued by all of them, if I'm being honest with you. There's none of them where I'm like, that doesn't float my boat. So
it's a real varied mix of games, though.
Well, that's what I wanted, really. So yeah,
I'm the man to commit. I play everything.
You do.
And obviously, I've finished all of these games. I had more. I had a game called Beacon Pines, which is like an animal detective game.
Right. Okay.
Which is really good, but I would say it's welcome a bit, but really where it's like animals with mix of Stranger Things and the X-Files.
Yeah.
Real strange game, but I fully enjoyed it, and 24 hours long. My biggest regret is Concrete Genie, which is one of my favourite games on the PlayStation, and they cancelled its PC port, because it didn't sell.
Right. Okay.
And it is absolutely top draw, that game. I would recommend it. Solid 10 out of 10 to anyone, that game. But there's no way for you to play it, so that was a real shame. That was first on my list, and there's no way for you to play it.
I am quite surprised. You know what? I thought you would have tried to sneak like an anime/manga type game in there for me.
I don't play that kind of game, mate.
Do you not? Is that right?
No, I don't. I don't at all. I have a good mix of games. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I could have recommended Doki Doki Literature Club to you, but we've already talked about that. But yeah, I think that's a real good mix, and I'm interested to see what you decide on.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, you've done well.
But yeah, we're gonna call it a day then, mate, aren't we?
We are, mate. Yeah, sounds good.
And we'll probably be back next week, and hopefully Harri will have made his decision. I have my orders from Harri that we have to plan our episodes a bit better, so we'll have some proper content for you next week.
Yeah, and hopefully one of our other two co-hosts will grace us with their presence.
I think Steve's back next week, so we'll talk some movies, and I've watched a few this week, so
right.
I've been watching the Paranormal Activity films, mate, on the back of Phasmophobia. It's basically Paranormal Activity the game. It's got so many nods to those films, it's unbelievable. But yeah, on that note, let's call it now, because we've gone on 45 minutes, not longer than I thought we were going to.
Yeah.
But cheers, Harri. Thanks to everybody for listening as usual. You must stay tuned for Harri's big decision on what he's going to buy. And knowing Harri as tight as he is, this is quite a big step for him, so, hopefully he'll have bought all of these games and he'll play them all.
If I had the time, I would.
Yeah.
It's not a money thing, it's a time thing.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, do you want to do your goodbyes, mate?
Yeah, thank you for always for listening to us ramble on. And yeah, look forward to catching up with you again next time.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.